Hi guys, if you're just tuning in, if you wouldn't mind helping me out and share this stream on maybe one of your social media channels, that would be great, and we'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Thanks very much. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Help me out and share this stream with your friends on social media if you don't mind, and we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Thank you for watching. We're going to be talking about some of the techniques that I often use to do some design work. Some very simple techniques that you can do as well. I'm using all free software in this video, and we'll get started in just a couple more minutes. Let me know in the comments if the stream is coming through okay, if you can hear the voice and the music all right, and if that's a good mix. This is always the awkward part of the stream, waiting for people to join in and making sure everything's set up correctly and sharing it everywhere. But bear with me and we will get started shortly. All right, let's get started. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me today live. Please leave me some comments in the chat and be part of this content while we create it live together. Your comments and questions definitely help this become more valuable to others and help me cover topics that are of a particular interest to you as you are watching right now. So we're in Google Sites right now. I'm just in the editor. I've been working on a portfolio site for myself for a while now. In the past, I've used other editors or done things manually, or Adobe Muse, or all kinds of different things, working with developers to create websites. And I've been on this just process, this journey of simplifying every part of my workflow, from design to production to communication and sharing and creating videos like this, and also part of that has been creating methods and processes that help me create more value in the content that I'm creating, whether it's design work or whether it's videos like this. And so I'm working hard to do that. And to that end, I've adopted Google Sites. I think that it is a fantastic tool for being able to throw together a website, and actually not just throw it together willy-nilly, but to create something that's incredibly powerful and very beautiful as well. And that really matters to me. So here we are. You can see this is just very much a portfolio sort of showcase website of a lot of the work that I've done. This is the design page here. I've got some art as well, and if you've seen my googledrawings.org website or some of my other videos, some of this stuff is going to look familiar to you. And it's moving a little slow with the stream going right now, so hopefully that's going to keep up. Yuva, I hope I pronounced your name right. Thank you for watching and for your comment. They say, hey, Joshua, love your work. Keep it coming. Okay, well, thank you. I really appreciate that feedback. Definitely. It means a lot to me. So this particular site really is just going to be for me to be able to use and leverage as a tool, as a way to showcase my work, maybe to a potential client or job opportunity, but also as a way, and this is just part of what I'm on a mission to accomplish, is to become a resource for others as well. And whether it's just by showing by example what's possible, not just with, you know, the creative side of things, not just the art itself, but this is all being put together with Google Sites. And I think that's pretty great. So here's what I want to do in this video. I want to show you a couple of things, and we're just going to kind of take these one at a time. Unless you guys jump in and have something else that you'd like to see, then we'll go that direction. But there's a few things I want to do to just kind of start out. I want to add something from a different website that I've been working on. So the Google drawings.org site that I've been working on. And I've got that open right over here. And actually, first of all, let me just go back to sites.google.com. And if you're logged in, you'll be able to see all of your sites. If you haven't made anything, you just click on the little red fab, I think they call it, the little plus button right down here in the corner, to create a new site. It's incredibly user-friendly and easy to do. And this is partly why I've kind of leaned into this direction of keeping everything in Google Drive, in the ecosystem, and working with things that are easy to update, because I think that more than ever before, it's important to keep things up to date, rather than, I think, even more than maybe looking the way that I might prefer or being, you know, flashy, is that they're presented clean and clear, and allows me the time to stay on top of things. So the traditional way of making websites has been you design it in one program, you hand it off to a developer who does things in code and wizardry and magic. Who knows what they do, right? Unless you're a developer, then you know. It takes a long time to translate a static design layout into a functional website. Then you've got to host it. Then you've got to work with servers and backends and domain registrars and all kinds of stuff just to get everything functional. Google Sites, I think, is a great simple alternative for that. Maybe not so much for professional sites. If you're wanting to have like a storefront or something like that, there are other services out there for that kind of stuff. But for me, as a showcase website, as a project site, as a portfolio site, or an informational site, any of those kinds of things, this is working really well. As well as becoming a site that is a resource. It is a tool. And that's what Google Drawings is intended to be. So I just wanted to show you, this is sort of my hub, right? My site's gallery. And opening a website is just as simple as clicking on it, and it's going to open this up in the Google Sites editor. So that's how I got there. All right, so this is my joshuapalmer.com, which is live. I published it earlier today. And one of the things, just kind of my ethos, my way of thinking about things anymore, is just get it published, get it going, and you can update it along the way. And that's, again, why a tool like Google Sites has become more and more valuable to me. So what I want to do is I want to put a section down here, or add to this section, from a different website. And this is how you can do it. So I've got two websites open in the editor, in the Google Sites editor. I'm going to go over to my resources page. So this is the googledrawings.org website. And I've got some content that I want to add, and it's down here towards the bottom. And I did a video not too long ago about the power of copy and paste, and how copy and paste can be more than just copying and pasting text. You can copy elements, the entire text box itself. You can paste those into other pages on your site, I want to show you another very powerful feature of copy and paste, and that's copying from one website and pasting into another that are both using Google Sites. And what I want to do is grab this section right here. So I want to talk about my videos on my About page, because that is about me. It's definitely something I'm focused on. And so I've just highlighted it, right? I've clicked on the background of this section. So the entire thing is highlighted in this blue outline. Right there, you can see it. Okay. Control C to copy it to the clipboard. Then I'll go back to this site, which is just open in a separate tab, and Control V. And in fact, it's even adjusted that background color to the theme of this current site, which I think is just fantastic. I love that. Which makes this look really good. And I can change the text here. There we go, something like that. Okay, and then I've got a screenshot of my YouTube. I also want to get my Patreon section right here. So I'm just going to grab that second section, go back over here, paste it, and it's pasting the images, it's pasting the text, it's pasting, oh, that's kind of weird. Look at that. I found a glitch. I found a glitch in the matrix. I'll just fix it like that. There we go. And the images and the layout, so everything that's coming through. There was a strange thing there. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that'll be something I probably submit some feedback on. The text got strange there. And I'm gonna update this button here, and I want to show you how I do that. So that's the first quick tip, is copying sections or elements from one website that's open in a tab in Google Sites into another Google Sites. Really, really powerful, and makes it very, very quick if you've created something in one website and you want to reuse that content. And the thing is, now I could swap out this image. I can change the text as you saw me do before, but at least it gives me a starting point to make my workflow much faster. And I really like that. Now I want to change this button. So I'm going to go into a Google Drawings document that I have here. This is how I created those custom buttons over here in my googledrawings.org website. I wanted this to be a big fat button. Now the buttons inside Google Sites look a little bit different. And I'll bring one in here, and you have to give it a name and you have to give it a link, but you can just type anything just to get a button in here. This is what they look like. And if I put it in a section that usually has a background image, it changes it to white with a little stroke. I'm not a fan of these buttons. I like things that are a little bit bigger, especially for mobile. So I'm going to undo that, get rid of it. I like that you can undo things that you're creating in your Google Sites websites. The Control Z key works. That's really cool. So here I want to change this button. So I'm just going to select it here, okay? But I've got to make it first. So let's go over to my Google Drawings. And what I'm going to do is actually just hold down Control and copy this so that I don't lose the one that I've made. And the one that's on the canvas, and you can see here I have this big extra section here. It's actually like the canvas is twice the size it needs to be. That's so it lines up the way that I wanted it to here and is left justified in Google Sites. This is a little bit of a hack there. And I'm going to use my Colorzilla tool here. I have some colors saved, and I want to use my cyan color. I'm just going to copy that hex code. Colorzilla is an extension for Chrome, a free extension for Chrome that basically gives you an eyedropper tool on any web page you're on. And I can grab colors from that page, and it will also save them in this color history area here. So I like using this a lot, and then I can copy the hex code, which really comes in handy when you're doing web design. So I'm just going to go to custom, paste in that hex code, click OK, and now I've got a custom button. And I will download this as a PNG. That's it. That's all I needed to do. I'll go back to Google Sites here, select my button, click on these little 3 dots for more editing options, and I'll replace that image with my new button right here. There we go. Now we got the colors we want, and it fits in with this page a little bit better. And this page is pretty much done. Let's go ahead and preview it. So we took elements from a different website, copied them to the clipboard, pasted them into another website. No coding, no developers involved, no hosting or back-end weirdness. It's just as easy as what you just saw me do. And there's our 2 sections we just added. Looks pretty good. And if I'm happy with that, I can just click on my publish button. And since I've already set this up, it's live currently, and these changes will now be live as well. So now that it's published, I can click on this drop-down arrow and view published site. And that will open up a new tab where I can see it. There we go. And there it is. What I really like about Google Sites as well is it is responsive by default. So if I shrink down my window here, you can see everything readjusts to this smaller size, and all of the important stuff is visible. It maintains all of the content in a very nice way. I expand it out. You can see how this is dynamic. It responds to the window size, and it does it in a very good way. So this way I can just kind of test it and see. On mobile, how's it going to look? It looks great. On desktop, full screen, I love how the headers, these banners, are full screen. I have these sections. If I give something an emphasis like this blue, it goes all the way across the width. Same with the Patreon. This background image goes all the way across. Really nice. Makes for a really visually compelling website. All right, there's one more thing that I want to show you. So this is the live site now that you're looking at, joshuapomeroy.com. I'm just going to close that for now. We'll go back to our Google Sites, and I'm going to go to the Design tab, or my Design page. This is sort of my design portfolio page here. I've got a lot of images in here, so it's loading up. There we go. So in here under my brand and identity, I want to add in some new content, and I want to show you a trick. So if I preview this right now, see how my background here is like a blurred version of the image that's in the foreground? Sort of like an iOS style, graphical style. And I use that full width image there in the background to sort of separate these different projects. I think it works really well without having to have a whole bunch of text or lines or dividers or anything like that. And it also creates this illusion of depth that I think is really neat. I want to show you how I do that with some free software. So I'll go back to the editor. Okay, and just under the insert menu, I'm going to insert an image, and we're going to navigate to my folder where I've got my content I want to add. This is for a band logo, and I think I'll do this one here. Okay, and I want this to be nice and big, so I'm just going to grab on one of these handles and drag it out. And I'm going to drag it out even past the width of the page, and you see how it's sort of readjusted so it's nice and keeps it in the constraints of the page. That's what I want, because I want the entire thing to be visible. I'm just going to click uncrop to make sure that the entire image is visible. But here now in the section, I can give this a background. I can give it just an emphasis, which you saw me do before, or just in regular, which in this case will just be white, or I can add an image. Now this is an image in the background, so it will be behind the image I just added in this section. So I click on image, click upload, but I need to create this image first. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that same image and we're going to open it with paint.net. Paint.net is a free image editing alternative to Photoshop. It is a lot more simple, which means it's a lot less complicated, and it does do simple things like this that I'm going to show you very, very well. All I need to do is apply a Gaussian blur. So I'm just going to go to Effects, Blurs, Gaussian Blur, and I'm going to make this like 150. Something like that. And what I might even do, just to make sure that it doesn't look like just a black background, I'm going to go to Levels and maybe do some adjustments in here. And let's maybe do another blur on it, but something a little softer this time. Right about there. All right, so I just did a blur, some levels, and another blur. And I'll save this as a JPEG. Okay, I'm going to use one more tool before I upload this image, and that is imagecompressor.com. It's really important, especially for web sites and loading time, that you optimize your images, especially for a site like I'm building, which is full of images. It's essentially a site that's just all images. And so I want to make sure that the loading times are as optimal as possible so that people aren't waiting for the page to load. So I use something like imagecompressor.com, or you could use tinypng.com, or ImageOptim is a free application for Mac, a desktop application. I like using this free one in the browser because it can work on any computer, imagecompressor.com, and it does a really good job at keeping all of the image quality, but reducing the file size, in this case 40%. So I'll just download that newly compressed, optimized image, and that will be the one that I upload to Google Sites. There it is. I'm just going to rename it just to keep things tidy and replace my other one here. All right, back over to Google Sites. Now we will upload our image to the background. And Google Sites will automatically do this thing where it adjusts things for readability. In this case, I don't need it because there's no text on top of it, so I'm just going to turn it off. Now, when I preview this, you'll see that the image, excuse me, that the image will be nicely contained, but then it will have this blurred version behind it, which kind of creates this illusion of depth. And that is a full screen, which is very, very nice. I like that. So we just used paint.net for a very simple process, which was just to add a blur. All right, so underneath this, I'm going to use the layout tools over here and drag in a 3-column layout so that I can add in some of my other content that's related to this particular branding project. I'm just getting rid of all of the text in here for now. I can always come back and add text in later if I want to. I just want to get some images in here. So I'm going to add in some of these images. We'll do the business cards and the billboard. And this office sign. I could double click on these to adjust the cropping of those if I would like. That one's pretty good. I could also click on the little crop icon right there. And there we go. We've got a new section, some new content of Ghosts and Kings. And whenever I'm happy with that, I can just click publish. So again, just some more things that I'm really enjoying about using Google Sites. I'll view the published website and see how those changes look. Nice. Any questions? Do you guys have any comments or questions or suggestions or anything at all? I'm just checking the chat right now. So I use Google Drawings to create my custom buttons. I used imagecompressor.com to optimize my images without losing hardly any visual quality. I really like that this gives you a preview and it looks exactly the same to me. There's no visible image quality loss. But I'm shrinking the file size down quite a bit. Great free tool there. And then of course I'm using Google Sites to actually build this website, a functional website that is by default responsive. I don't even have to create a separate responsive version. It just does it, and it relays out all of these columns and it stacks them vertically, which is very, very nice. And you can preview all that, by the way. If I just go to the preview, the little eyeball icon, I can see how this is going to look on mobile, which is really important in our day and age. You need to make sure that your website is responsive so that you don't have content that's being cut off if somebody's trying to view it on a mobile device. How do you create a custom domain name? Well, I have used several different places before, domains.com, GoDaddy, and recently I have moved over to domains.google.com. So I'm continuing to keep everything in my Google ecosystem. I believe that Google Domains registration was actually a little bit cheaper than GoDaddy. It's about $12 for a year. And it's really easy to hook it up if you've created your site in Google Sites. So there's, next to your publish button, there's this 3-dot icon. If I click on that, drop it down, you can see custom URLs, and that's what you want to go to. And you can see that it says you can make it easier for people to visit your site with custom URLs like www.yourdomain.com, learn more. And if you click on that learn more, it's going to tell you exactly how you can do it. You can go to google.com/webmasterverification, look for your properties and do all this stuff. I didn't even bother with any of that. All I did was go to domains.google.com and forward it to the web address, the Google Sites web address, which is sites.google.com/view, and in my case, Joshua Pomeroy. So that is how you can get your domains from anywhere, and using a Google service, I think, is just going to be a little bit easier for hooking them up to your Google Sites. And then you would go to custom URLs, type it in there and then click assign, and you can have multiple URLs assigned to a single site. So if you wanted to do like yoursite.com, yoursite.net, yoursite.us, or .co, .uk, .edu, whatever you want to do, but you have to purchase those custom domains and maintain them. But so far, for hooking something up, like hooking up a custom domain, Google Sites has been the easiest site builder that I've used to do that. So I was able to get googledrawings.org, and it just forwards to this site that I've created, and joshuapomeroy.com now forwards to this site that I published today. I do have some free resources, some updates on some free resources on googledrawings.org. If you're interested, these will open right up in your web browser. You can edit them. You've got full access to every little piece and vector and text and everything in here. So all of these illustrations here are free. I've got videos on how I made them. And if you are able to support, there are some rewards for supporters for my Patreon. So that's my little commercial for this video. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your comments and for your questions. I may be on again later today or later in this week, so make sure you you turn on notifications if you want to join me on these streams. I really appreciate people who join me live so that they can become part of this content. Thank you, Yuva. One more question, Gravit Designer or Google Drawings? I know you maintain everything under Google environment, but what would you prefer between them apart from it being from Google services? Google or Gravit Designer, that's a great question, comment. Thank you for that. Let me just go back to Gravit Designer. Gravit Designer has been purchased by Corel. You may or may not have seen that recently. They do plan on maintaining a free version, but they're going to be adding new features to a pro or paid version of this program. That always makes me just a little bit nervous. So far, nothing has changed for me yet, and I have not purchased a pro license. It's not very much. It's a lot less than like the Creative Cloud suite, but again, this is part of my quest for simplicity and going with tools that are very easy to use and actually doing more with less features. But that being said, Gravit Designer is still my go-to vector graphics application, especially for logo design or anything that is going to be more complex. In fact, all of the branding that you just saw, if I go, now I can go to my site since it's published. If I go to joshuapomeroy.com, I'll go to my design page. See, it's already becoming a tool for me, a resource that I can use. All of this was created in Google Drawings. This logo, however, was created in Gravit Designer. So I still heavily use Gravit Designer. This was created in Gravit Designer. And then I basically just exported all of my assets, and I can use them in lots of different ways. This catalog was created in Google Slides, believe it or not. But elements like the logos, I would definitely use something more like Gravit Designer to do. These posters were created in Google Slides. This was all created in Google Slides. This is actually a newsletter that ended up being more like a brochure than a newsletter, but that was created actually in something. That was when I was working with Autodesk Graphic, and I used Graphic for that. I would do something like that now in Gravit Designer. So definitely, I'm still a huge fan of Gravit Designer. The team is very responsive, and I talk to them quite a bit on Twitter still. and they're doing a great job. This is just a fantastic program. I think that there's just a handful of people. I can't remember where it is. I think it's Germany or Austria. At least where the founders or the original developers first started this whole project, and it's just still a fantastic tool. Marius, hey, how you doing? Thank you for joining. They say, why slides and not drawing? Or Google Drawings? Well, because slides gives you all the same vector tools as Google Drawings, plus the ability to have multiple pages or multiple slides. So anything that I create, like for example, this catalog, I knew that it's going to have more than just one page. And Google Drawings only gives you one canvas to work with. Now you can create multiple Google Drawings and just keep them in a folder in your Google Drive, but actually using Google Slides is a lot easier to do that. You can also set up master slides, which would work as like, if you've ever used something like InDesign, it's similar to that, where you can have a master page and have elements on that page that cascade throughout the entire document. So for page numbering, or for backgrounds, that's primarily how I use it for background content, and it locks those layers. You can always get back to them if you go to editing your masters, but it just gives you that little bit more functionality for managing pages than Google Drawings. But all the same vector tools are available. Thank you for that question. That's going to do it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching and for commenting and for your questions. I really appreciate it. And let me know. I'll leave this video up on my channel after the stream here, so people who don't catch it live can still comment. But let me know if this was helpful, and if you'd like to see more kind of content like this. I really appreciate you being part of this content as we make it live, and hopefully answer some questions that will be helpful for someone else. Thanks again. Bye for now.